What is that?
These hikers and joggers went out to enjoy nature, but instead ended up encountering bone-chilling entities. And you won't believe how disturbing some of these discoveries are.
Oh, frick!
This cameraman traveled deep into the snowy area to enjoy the beautiful view, but what he found there was unsettling. A creepy man emerged from the piles of snow, and no one knows how long he had been hiding there. Something was really off about him. His limbs were long and thin, his chest completely bare in the icy weather. Even the cold did not bother him at all. What's even more strange is that its hand was coated in a mysterious red liquid. The cameraman was so unsettled by the man that he quietly walked away without drawing any attention. Cloaked mystery. This was a pleasant hiking trip for this woman until she noticed that something was truly off in the woods. There was an invisible, shimmery figure moving among the trees. It almost looked as if it was Bigfoot navigating the dense forest, wearing an invisibility cloak. But even after recording the video and sharing it with others, no one knows for sure what it was. Creepy humanoid. These hikers had the creepiest encounters of their lives. When they were out in the woods, they felt like someone was watching them, so they turned on their flashlight and found this. In the distance was a ghost that looked like a girl in a white dress, and her face looked evil. Her eyes were pits of darkness, but what frightened the men most was that she kept staring at them with those unnervingly dark eyes. The men were wise, because they did not approach her and left. Deformed nightmare. A group of men got lost during their hiking trip after making a wrong turn. They ended up finding a shabby shack and decided to stay in for the night. And this was their biggest mistake. A bone-chilling creature walked out. It had long hair, and its face was completely disfigured. The creature was horrendous to look at because it didn't have a skin. But that's not the worst part, because its hands had sharp claws. The men didn't want to get caught in those claws, so they ran in the opposite direction, but luckily found the right path again. Crawling creature. When these explorers decided to explore the wildlife, they thought they had spotted an animal in the distance. But they were wrong, because it wasn't an animal at all. They found a puzzling figure crawling in the dirt. It was dressed like a human, but its limbs and movements were nothing human-like. It was crawling on hands that were raw from dragging its body on the rough ground, and it seemed like the creature had never seen humans before, because it was trying to run away from the men, eventually disappearing in the trees. Rotten entity. How was this creature even alive? A man was jogging at night when he found a nightmarish figure along the way. Eyes hollow, mouth teethless, pale skin stretched too tight on sharp bones. This creature looked like it had already gone through the decaying process and survived it somehow. The man was already scared, but then the creepy entity turned its head towards him and stared with those hollow eye sockets. That's when his fear turned into gut-wrenching terror, and he ran home. Giant horror. When these men were camping in this area, their trip quickly turned into a nightmare, because high up in the trees, something massive was watching them. A giant, bald creature with huge glowing eyes peeked through the branches. It did not approach them. It just kept staring at the men. The creature's size was unreal. It was way bigger than any human. The cameraman kept filming because he was too shocked to even move. Then slowly, the giant moved behind the trees, going out of sight. Mountain creature. This video took the internet by storm. During a road trip, this family recorded a mysterious figure in the mountains. A cryptid was peeking out from a dark cave in the mountain, and its body was covered in dark brown fur. It was half hidden in the cave, as if it did not want to be seen. As the video went viral online, people started saying that this could be a Sasquatch, but only if we got a clearer visual of it, we could find out the truth. Demonic nightmare.
Mira! Ay, Dios mío!
Are we witnessing a demonic activity on camera? The woman was driving into a village, but she encountered an unexpected obstacle. In the middle of the road, there was a man lying on the ground, and what stood over him was extremely terrifying. It was a dark, frightening entity with peculiar limbs, and it was doing something strange to the man while he was writhing on the ground. It looked as if the creature was performing some sort of demonic ritual. The woman drove away in fear, and later found out that the man had gone missing from a nearby village, and he was never seen again.
Mira! Oh, no! Ve!
Trail camera mystery. This trail camera was set up to catch animals at night, but what it recorded instead was something else entirely. A pale, bald head slowly peeked out from behind a tree. Its head looked way too big to be normal, and its neck was strangely thin. Then suddenly, it snapped its head straight toward the camera, like it knew it was being watched. After noticing the camera, it pulled back and disappeared behind the tree. But it was too late, because the camera had already captured it. Creepy forest man.
Buddy! How you doing?
These guys were driving through the woods when they spotted something eerie. A man was standing among the trees. His skin was pale, like he had never gone out in the sun. At first, he didn't move, but when the cameraman called out to him, the creepy man dropped to all fours and started crawling in an eerie way. And the way he was crawling was completely animalistic. His movements were jerky, unnatural, almost as if he was another creature trying to mimic a human. The men were so spooked by his behavior that they drove away from him. Creature from hell. A hiker placed a trail camera deep in the forest to record some wild animals, but when he came back the next day, the camera wasn't where he left it. It had been ripped off and tossed aside. At first, he thought a bear had done it, but when he checked the footage, his heart dropped. The video showed a creature picking up the camera. It wasn't human. It wasn't an animal. Its face was creepy, with hollow sockets where eyes should be, with skin that looked too stretched to be natural. The man was so disturbed after seeing this that he never placed a trail camera in that forest again. Crawling terror.
Is that a cow?
As a man was walking in the forest, he heard something behind him, so he started to scan the area, thinking it was just an animal. But then, something far more mysterious emerged from the trees. A pale, humanoid figure shot out of the woods and crawled towards him with great speed. It was crawling on all fours, its limbs thin and unusually long. The man was instantly filled with fear when he saw the creepy humanoid, and he ran away screaming. Could this be an alien sighting, or something far more frightening? Cursed forest entity. These friends ventured to a seemingly cursed forest for fun, but all their fun ended when they found out why the place was cursed. A bone-chilling humanoid stopped them in their tracks. Its movements were jerky and unnatural, slender limbs. The man lit up a torch to scare it away, and it just stood there, watching silently. But then, it charged at them. The men were scared witless, and they immediately ran away from the creature. Forest horror. This is what nightmares look like. The footage was recorded by a group of people who explored remote places, but they deeply regretted traveling to this forest. It was night when they saw a scary entity peeking from behind the trees. It had no prominent features or limbs. All they could see was its mouth that was stretched into a wide, bone-chilling grin. It was so eerie that the men could feel shivers go down their spines, and after one glimpse, the creature quietly moved behind the tree and disappeared from sight, but the fear remained with the men. Unknown humanoid.
Ayo ikut ayo. Ayo ikut lu mah setan lawak lu.
The explorers had heard rumors about a strange creature living in the densest part of the forest. When they went to investigate, the truth was wilder than they expected. Out of nowhere, a mysterious being jumped from the bushes, like it had been waiting for them already. Its body was as dark as night, and its eyes glowed bright with a dangerous look. And the scary part is that it was ready to jump at the man. But just in time, his friend came from behind and hit it, saving the cameraman.
Coba senyum yang lama. Hehe.
Creature from darkness.
Mayroon po baga? Ayun o.
The man came across a narrow cave under a mountain. It was so narrow that no one could get through. He got curious to know what was inside, so he held his camera close to the cave. That's when things got creepy. From the darkness, someone was already staring back at him. Its glowing eyes stood out, and its body was extremely dark. And the moment the cameraman spotted it, he yanked the camera away. He was so terrified that he could not stop wondering what that creature was, and why was it hiding in the darkness.
Ayun o. Oo. Ayun o. Wala, nagkakislap na.
Bigfoot sighting. It started out as a normal bear sighting in the wilderness, but soon the hiker found out that what he was recording was not a bear, but something else. The creature stood up from its hiding spot, and it was huge, its shoulders wide and arms powerful. It was a kind of wild beast that he had never seen before, and after seeing it, the man believed that it was Bigfoot. Frightening discovery.
Ronnie, something really big just broke behind me twice and it's getting louder.
A team of explorers ventured into a dark, eerie forest, and when they were scanning the woods, they started hearing strange sounds.
Did you hear that?
The sounds kept getting louder and louder, like someone was hitting the trees. Then suddenly, they picked up movement on their thermal camera. It was massive, and it was moving really fast. The way it was moving, it was clear that it wasn't an animal. The video ended shortly after because the entire team rushed towards their camp as they didn't want to get in the creature's way. Hidden creatures. A group of hikers decided to explore a hidden cave they found in a remote forest, and when they were about to check it out, but there was something inside. Strange humanoid figures with wild eyes were peeking out at them. They were covered in thick, dark fur. The men were so unnerved by this unexpected discovery that they decided to leave them alone. But the humanoids had something else in mind, because they came out of the cave. They surrounded the men, running around wildly. The hikers struggled to find a way out of that jungle and barely escaped those creatures. Woodland Crypted. Hikers in East Texas noticed a huge creature moving among the trees, so they moved closer and saw this. A massive, 9-foot cryptid was standing there in the woods. Its shoulders were too wide, and its body was covered in beastly fur. And the way it was standing calmly, it was clear that this creature had been living here for years. The men were too shocked to see it here, and they were certain that this was Bigfoot. Mountainous Giant. A man in Mexico captured something strange on his road trip to the mountains. A tall, humanoid figure was standing at the top of a mountain, and what creeped him out the most was that the figure was clearly visible from such a great distance, which means that it had to be extremely huge, at least 10 feet tall. As the man drove away, the unsettling feeling remained with him because he thought that he had witnessed a real-life giant. Frightening Bigfoot. Trail cameras are known to capture the craziest moments of the wildlife, and this one captured the wildest one. A massive black Sasquatch appeared in the distance. Then suddenly, it did something shocking. It used its powerful strength to break the limb of a tree. Then, it hurled it towards the hidden camera. This shows that the creature knew it was being recorded, and it was not happy about it at all. The footage gives us chills about the beasts that lurk in the forests, and how powerful they truly are. Shadowy cryptid. In the woods in Ireland, a man thought he saw an ape in the distance, but unlike apes that are often seen in groups, this creature was alone. The man got so suspicious that he moved closer to record it. Turns out, it wasn't an ape, but a mysterious shadowy cryptid peering from behind a tree. It was huge, and it was acting really odd. And just as the cameraman took one step closer, the cryptid disappeared behind the tree. Mountain mystery. When these people were going up the mountains, they noticed something strange, so they decided to record it. There was an unusually tall figure with long limbs walking alone on the mountains. From this distance, its body appeared to be black. But the most shocking part is that, in just a few moments, it had reached the top of the mountains. The person recording this was stunned to see that it had climbed the mountain this fast. So he decided that he must have recorded a giant in the mountains, because there was no other possible explanation. Devilish humanoids. This man thought that this was just another abandoned village, but he was so wrong, because when he entered the heart of the village, he found a bone-chilling creature staring at him from behind a broken wall. It looked like a girl, but not quite, because its eyes were too pale, its mouth too wide, and the way it was staring sent chills down his spine. And just as the man backed away, he found another one. When he saw these horrifying creatures here, he finally realized that this village wasn't as empty as he thought. Alien discovery. In the middle of chopped-up woods, the camera caught something strange standing there. It was a creepy figure with gray skin and long, skinny arms. Its head was way too big for its body. It didn't move. It didn't speak. It just stood there, staring at the cameraman. And honestly, it looked like the man had captured a real alien, but he still couldn't decide if it was even real or just an old prop that was left behind. Unidentified life form. This man thought he spotted a wildcat running in the shrubs, so he ran towards it. But when he got closer, he realized that it wasn't a cat at all. Its movements were really strange, so the man picked it up. But that's when things got strange, because as soon as he picked up the creature, it started to shrivel up, its fur falling away, and what was left behind was a carcass. It had cat-like ears, but the rest of its body was strange. Its face resembled a human's, and its limbs ended in weird claws. The man took the creature home for examination, but couldn't figure out what it really was. Horrifying cryptid. Some men were camping in a forest, but when they heard strange noises coming from the woods, they decided to investigate. And that's when they saw this horrific entity. They spotted a huge cryptid behind the trees. Its body was dark, so they could not see it very clearly. However, Its face unsettled them the most. Its face was pale, much lighter than the rest of its body, and it was staring at them with eerie, glowing eyes. The men were terrified because they didn't know how long the creature had been standing there, and they didn't want to find out either, so they ran towards their tents. Sinister being. This trip to the woodlands didn't turn out well. During a hiking trip, a family came across a narrow opening underneath the thick trees, and something creepy was living inside it. A black, sinister entity with massive ears was looking at them. It was so creepy that at first, they didn't think it was alive. But then they noticed the eyes, round, unsettling eyes that were gazing into their souls. The creature did not step out, but it did not hide from the family either, as if warning them to keep their distance. So the family did not approach it and left the creature alone. Horrifying forest creature. In a shocking sighting, this man captured one of the rarest creatures ever. During the dark night, something was moving behind the shrubs, and a closer look revealed the terrifying truth. It was a massive beast with a huge, furry head. Its black body and beastly head sent shivers down his spines. It was silently watching them with sparkling eyes, and when the man flashed his light on it, it crouched low, trying to stay hidden from the intruding eyes. But the man had already seen the beast that resided in this forest, and he was sure that this was a dog man. Jogging nightmare. This jogger decided to head outside at night, and that was a big mistake. He heard rustling in the trees that made him stop in his tracks. The man thought it was probably a cat, but the rustling got louder and louder. That's when he saw it. A terrifying face peering at him from behind the leaves. Its shiny eyes were staring at him in a spooky way, and its mouth was even more unsettling because it looked like it was smiling at him. The man was filled with panic, so he went home and went out at night again. Mythical reality. No one would have believed this guy if he hadn't recorded this. He was traveling deep into the ancient woods of Appalachians when he saw this. A huge, black cryptid was standing among the woods. The man's heart was racing fast as he was staring, and the cryptid, and it was staring back. He believed that he had finally seen a Sasquatch with his own eyes, which made him certain that these mythical creatures are in fact very real. Watchful alien. An explorer was riding his horse into the forest when the animal sensed something nearby. The horse started acting strange, as if it had seen a ghost. This made the rider uncomfortable, so he pulled out his camera and captured this. An alien-like entity was watching them, its face barely visible among the dense branches. The entity was ashy gray, its eyes completely black and hollow, and it was silently observing them with those scary eyes. The guy was only able to capture a glimpse of it before he turned his horse and rode far, far away from that thing. Wicked entity. This area of the forest was completely restricted, and these men found out why. They packed their hiking gear and ventured into this area, and that's when they found this frightening monstrosity. A creepy humanoid jumped out from the dense trees. It was crouched on all fours, its limb unusually thin and shiny. Its head was even creepier because it was so huge that it resembled a lion's mane. But this was no animal. The brave men tried to get closer and capture it, but the entity was too wicked, and the men couldn't get their hands on it. Forest surprise. A woman made a shocking discovery in the forest. Sitting among the trees, she noticed a creature that she never thought she would see in real life. It was clearly a Sasquatch. Thick, brown fur coated its entire gigantic body, and the way it was sitting peacefully, it was very clear that this was the Siptids' home. The woman wanted to get a close-up video of it, when suddenly, it looked right at her. This alarmed her, and she quickly hid from the cryptid. Spine-chilling eyes. Staring into the darkness is one thing, but when the darkness stares back, that's when things get terrifying. That's exactly what happened to this person who was venturing into a forest at night and noticed this. Two frightening eyes were glowing in the distance, and they were staring at him. Nothing else was visible in the dark. The person could not see the rest of the creature. He was only able to see those creepy eyes. The sight sent shivers down his spine, because he didn't know if those eyes belonged to a wild animal or a mysterious beast. Crypted in shadows. This footage proves that it's not just animals that live in forests, because what this cameraman captured was not any wildlife animal. He was exploring an old woodland that no one dared to visit, and his flashlight shone on something unexpected. A cryptid was standing right in front of him, its body covered in pale fur. It seemed like it had been waiting for the man to find it, because it did not look alarmed at all. It just kept staring with steady eyes. But after a few seconds, it ran fast and vanished, leaving no trace behind. Forest she-devil. An adventurous trip turned into a horrendous nightmare for this person. He thought it would be a good idea to explore the ancient woodland at night, but he ended up regretting his decision after encountering this nightmare. He saw a witch-like creature with long hair. The witch was chanting something, and there was something mysterious in her hands, something that looked alive. But that's not even the scariest part, because her face was even more frightening. It made the man tremble with so much fear that he backed away from her and ran, but he wasn't the same after that. Restless river spirit. Locals claim that this riverbank had a dark history of people ending their lives here, and their spirits still roam the place. That's why a paranormal investigators team decided to investigate, and what they saw there was even creepier than the rumors. They spotted this man-like figure sitting near the riverbank, but it wasn't human at all. Its body was too pale to be natural, and its head was even more unsettling, because it looked half-rotten. The team tried getting closer to it, but it silently disappeared in the water. That's when the investigators realized that they might have witnessed one of the restless spirits. Creepy, slender humanoid. In 2006, two Spanish hikers ran into a dreadful creature. They were exploring an abandoned area near a village, but little did they know, it wasn't really abandoned, because something frightening was living there. They spotted a mysterious humanoid figure. It had a pale body and long limbs, and it was crouching low, as if it was eating something. When the men tried to move closer, it looked at them and revealed its eerie face. The men panicked and ran, because they did not want to end up as its next meal. Nightmare road trip. A nighttime road trip turned into a dreadful experience for this family. As they were driving into an old village, they noticed a person in front of them, but a closer glance revealed that something was terribly wrong. The person's legs weren't normal. They were twisted at an odd angle, and it was struggling to walk straight. The person seemed to have long hair, but its head looked deformed. The family was frightened because they thought that the person was cursed, so they did not drive further into the village. Frightening spectator. This traveler recorded a mysterious entity hiding in the forest. After venturing too far into the unknown woodland, a strange voice called out to him. When he turned around, he found something staring at him. A frightening face peered at him from the dense trees. The creature's body was completely hidden under the thicket, but its face was visible. Gray skin, vicious mouth, and eerie eyes. This was the face of nightmares. The man was shaken to his core after seeing it, and he vowed to never return to this forest again. Alien carcass. You won't believe what these hikers found in the woods. They were wandering through the forest when they noticed a strange, dried-up patch of grass. And on top of that dried grass was something even more mysterious. They found remains of an unidentified creature. It was neither human nor animal. It had an eerie face and long, sharp ears that extended from its skull. And the body was really old, because fungi were growing out of its remains. The hikers were too disturbed to see this alien-like entity, so they left without touching it. Subscribers, pick.
24-hour News 8's Danny Carlson has been working to learn more about his past, and also she talked with a man who knew him. Danny joins us live right now. Danny?
And now, it's time for today's most disturbing thing that a jogger encountered. Sometimes. The most terrifying discoveries are not just cryptids and unidentified creatures, it's humans too. In 2012, a man went for a run in the morning and came across something shocking. He found a man's remains in Oak Hill Cemetery. There were marks on these remains that showed there was a struggle between him and the culprit. After calling the police, they identified the man as Robert Shields. Shields was a repeated offender, which might have to do something with his demise. The police suspected that there was foul play involved in this case, but as for now, there are no other answers.
Doesn't happen every day to have a body discovered in a cemetery.